Sparking Zero has officially released to the delight of Dragon Ball fans, being hailed as one of the best Dragon Ball fighting games to ever exist. This coming from the same company that gave us Jump Force a few years back, shows Spike Chunsoft has probably redeemed themselves in the eyes of the consumer of fighting games. Now today's video, I want to talk about an article that's currently making the rounds on the internet as we currently speak. IGN released their official review of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. As you can already guess, people aren't happy with the 7 out of 10 review score Sparking Zero received by the IGN site. At a glance, a 7 out of 10 isn't bad in my book. Typically, a rating system of 1 through 10, 5 would be what you would consider average, while 7 is above average. However, in the last decade or so, the number 7 has quickly become the ideal spot for saying a game is just average. Anything lower is considered garbage, while anything higher is considered above average. And if you put something at 9, it is declared a masterpiece. Now, despite the 7 out of 10 rating, that's not the only reason Sparking Zero fans, or in this case, gamers as well, are upset with IGN. Taking a look at recent reviews from IGN, we can see Concord 2 got a 7 out of 10 rating, despite it being one of the most catastrophic gaming releases of all time, clocking in at losing over $400 million and a massive blow to Sony's pocket. The overarching effect of this failure of a release will probably shift how some companies make games going forward, and it will probably have a widespread effect on just how games are made in-house, outside of house with third-party, to first-party, AAA games in general. You know this is going to have a huge effect, because it is definitely something that was unseen, we have never really seen before in terms of losses in gaming history. Now, I do want to point something out. The individual that reviewed Sparking Zero on IGN, they did not review Concord on IGN. And I know IGN is the same company, but they do have different, journalists that sit down and review individual games. However, it won't matter even if someone says this, because obviously people always compare the scores between the games because it's on the site IGN. But it was two separate people, meaning they have varying opinions on how they'll feel about a given game. However, this will not stop people from comparing reviews of things, especially if one of those reviews are meant to be a game that will be labeled as the big stinker of 2024, or in fact, of gaming history. This is where I think IGN, in my personal opinion, is lacking. Because they have multiple reviewers, it causes friction with what they review, because you will always see conflicting scorings that feel arbitrary. Which in general, the rating system is arbitrary depending on the thoughts and views of the reviewer, to be fair. However, there is no consistency on IGN's platform, which leads to drama like this always occurring and ruining their reputation. There's a reason why they're the meme of the internet and game journalists when people say you can't spell ignorant without IGN, and it's because of stuff like this. When you have two different series are given both 7 out of 10s, regardless if it's two different individual reviewers, people are going to make cross comparisons with the rating system, and I think that inherently this is the biggest issue that IGN faces, because it's like, yes, people can have varying opinions, they will always have different views on stuff and all that, there's nothing wrong necessarily with that, but I think because of how you have one of the games that's probably one of the biggest stinkers of gaming history being 7 out of 10, while you have something like Sparking Zero that's being labeled as one of the best Dragon Ball games of all time, obviously you can see where people are kind of getting a little bit upset with the overall review from IGN. This is why many, when it comes to game reviews, will go to content creators on YouTube or Twitch instead of journalists like IGN, because it's mainly one person that can remain consistent with their views on gaming or different products, and I think that this is a big thing. I think this is the reason why you see a lot more people go to content creators over anything else, because it's like they can expect one individual's thoughts on the matter to stay very consistent or in line with what they've reviewed in the past. Like, for instance, Angry Joe. Angry Joe's a good example. Like, you know what he likes, you know what he doesn't like, and so when a game comes out, you know what to expect, but if he says something that he doesn't like it, you can kind of get a good understanding if you expect him to like it, but he says he doesn't like it, you get a good understanding the game must be kind of, like, you know, bad. So I do think that overall, yes, you could still look at a game and don't fully always say the game is going to be bad because of a reviewer or even a content creator saying it's bad, but I do think that people are more in line to trust a content creator's words over something like IGN that always has just very inconsistent ratings throughout all their products, not just with gaming, but with TV, movies. You get the point. As for the Sparking Zero review in question, it's actually not a bad article. In general, it talks about the strength and weaknesses of the game, down to the menu system, character roster of 180 characters, the overpowered characters that feel oppressive and feel very lore accurate, and even the graphics. I see nothing wrong with the review personally, and if someone thinks it deserves a 7 out of 10, well, that's entirely how they feel about the game or what they received from the said game they were playing. However, as someone that is an active fan of Dragon Ball, I mean this when I say it, it's the best Dragon Ball game to ever exist. To make a long story short, it's not a bad review, but with the inconsistency of IGN's scoring system, it's no wonder people get upset with this stuff when it comes to like One Piece live action, to JJK, to Dragon Ball, you get the point. And so hopefully IGN, the only way I could really figure out how they could effectively handle this is that they get dedicated reviewers for different genres. That's my main thing. I understand they want to kind of, you know, mix reviewers around and maybe give varying opinions on different topics, people that don't even play those type of games and how they would feel about it, but it does lead to a lot of this friction that causes people not to really trust IGN because of how they handle these scorings in the first place. But anyways, I love you all, and thank you so much for watching. Talk to you all later. Chibi out.
What a shame. Now I'll no longer be able to see your helpless little face.